promise forever, ever, or never mind. Oh,
Good afternoon, Oswego, and welcome to the Weekly Buck. My name is Anthony, joined by my lovely co-host, Ashley. Today we have a fantastic show for you, so let's get right into it. Now, as you all know, I am quite the connoisseur of sports ball.
Sports ball? What's that?
Oh, you know, it's the game where you hit a slam dunk past the goalie, and if you're lucky, you might see a home run. But as knowledgeable as I am about sports ball, if there's anyone who can challenge my expertise, it's Dane and Nick. So why don't we send it over to them for some more info?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a new edition of Q's Conversations, along with Nick Victory. I'm Dane Richardson. Nick, the Orange are wrapping up their regular season now with only one regular season game left at Clemson. With a 10-7 record in the ACC, do you think we're in the tournament? And if we are, what seed are we?
I think if we lose out, we're still going to be in the tournament. But if we win against Clemson, I think we're in no matter what. Or even just win a game in the ACC tournament, we're definitely going to be in. Right now, I'd say we're probably at the 8 to 9 seed range. Really doesn't matter which one we get, because we'll just play another 8 to 9 seed no matter what. But I really would like to get to a 7, or even maybe drop a little, get to a 10, so we can play a 2 seed in the second round and not a 1 seed.
Absolutely. You see some of those bracketology experts, Joe Lenardi, Jerry Palm, they're projecting us against possibly St. John's. That would be a good New York matchup. Or maybe even Mike Hopkins' Washington team. Very intriguing to the whole college basketball world. Syracuse, however, recently took a tough loss at home to Virginia. They were up 34-32 at halftime and ended up losing 79-53. What did you see in that ugly second half against Virginia?
I didn't see many adjustments made by Boeheim that I think need to be made, especially on the defensive end. They ran the same play to the corner a lot, and we just kept letting it happen. Kyle Guy was getting way too many open looks. He went 8 for 10 from 3. That's unacceptable. I mean, no team's going to shoot 72% from 3 in a normal basketball game, but when they are shooting that well, you still got to get out on them. You can't just let them keep firing away and let them keep their streak going. I mean, they went 18 for 25. That's unacceptable.
Absolutely. Syracuse needs to make more defensive adjustments. You knew Virginia, one of the best defenses in the country. They weren't going to allow 34 points in the second half like they did in the first, and they're definitely a threat to go all the way. After the Clemson game, we talked about how that's the last regular season game. ACC tournament coming up next week in Charlotte. What are your expectations for the Orange?
I think we'll win the first game because I think we can beat anybody on the bottom side of the bracket and a couple teams on the top side. I don't see us beating Duke with Zion during the ACC tournament or North Carolina, but I think anybody else we can make a run for because Virginia, I think we can beat. We showed that in the first half, but they just shot incredible, especially in the second half. So I expect 1 win, maybe 2.
You're absolutely right. We've beaten a lot of the bottom teams in the ACC, Wake Forest, Notre Dame, etc., Boston College, Pittsburgh, things like that. But when Syracuse shoots well, Nick, they can play with a lot of teams, and their defense has to be active as well. One more thing you would like to see from the Orange coming up in the ACC tournament and heading in throughout the month of March?
I have a few things. I want to see Frank Howard play some actual defense and not walk. I want to see him hit some shots instead of just taking step backs. I want to see Battle start to take over games, and I want to see Brissett knock down a 3. I don't think he's hit a 3 in the last month. He's probably over like 12 or something. He's been shooting god-awful, and he's just been taking to the basket and hoping it goes in. So knock down some shots, O'Shea.
For me, it's got to be playing better in the second half. Home against Duke, up at halftime. Home against Virginia, up at halftime. At North Carolina, up at halftime. I get they're all tough teams. They're all top 10 caliber teams. But Syracuse lost all of those games. They need to really lock down on defense in the second half and hopefully shoot as well as they do in the first half. And like you said, O'Shea Brissett, if he can get his shooting stroke down, we've seen Buddy Boeheim still shooting it well. Syracuse can be a team to be reckoned with come March. Now, our next episode after this, episode 2 of Q's Conversations, we're going to hype up our special bracket breakdown in a couple of weeks. We're going to have the whole bracket with some big whiteboards. We're going to make our Final Four picks and our championship picks. And we will have a special edition of Q's Conversations, March Madness style. Excited?
I'm pumped.
This is our favorite month of the year, March is, Nick and I. That'll wrap up episode 2 of Q's Conversations. He's Nick Victory. I'm Dane Richardson. We'll see you next time.
Wow, they really know a lot about their sports.
That they do, Ashley. I might have a little bit of competition for my title as #1 sports ball expert.
I'm rooting for Dane.
Wow, Ashley. But you know, that reminds me, didn't you have a segment about how spring sports are coming up around Oswego High School?
I actually do. Spring sports have started, and many students are trying out.
Really?
They have.
Well, I guess we'll take it over to you to find out more about it.
Spring sports have started this week and students have been trying out. Boys and girls lacrosse have been trying out in the Oysters gym. Coaches have been having difficulties with trying to choose who they want on their team. Baseball has been also practicing in the gyms. There has been a lot of great players trying out. We'll see how their season goes once coaches pick out their players. Softball is another that has been trying out in the gyms of OHS. Players have been very competitive to get onto the team. Girls golf has been having tryouts as well. Track and field and boys tennis don't have tryouts, but they seem like they're going to have a great season this year. Students of OHS have been very competitive in trying to get a spot on the team. Coaches of each team will be having trouble choosing who they want on their team. There's many great players trying out for each sport. Once coaches figure out who they want on their team, students will have to learn how to work together as a team, build friendships, and create a great team to beat other teams they'll be going against. Now, back to the show.
Thank you, Ashley. Very cool.
You're very welcome.
Hey, Ashley, did you know that the very popular video game franchise Final Fantasy had 3 entries in the West titled 1, 2, and 3, but abroad they were actually known as 1, 4, and 6. That's why the 4th entry we got here in the West was called Final Fantasy 7, despite the fact we never got a 4, 5, or 6.
Anthony, I'm going to slap you.
Well, to avoid being slapped, how about we take it over to some more useful trivia facts with Katie and Nicole.
Our very WBUC students, Keon Johnson and Katie Lilly, take on Oswego High School in order to find answers to these very difficult trivia questions. Hi, I'm here with Derek Koa, and I'm going to ask him a couple trivia questions. Okay. What kind of animal is a prairie dog?
A mammal?
What do honeybees collect?
Honey.
What color is blueberry jam? Red. Did I say the answer?
What color is a purple finch?
Gray. I'm colorblind.
Everyone in the world needs it, but they usually give it without taking it. What is it?
Love.
Advice.
Okay, in which country was the Caesar salad invented in? England.
How much dirt is there in a hole that's 5 feet deep and 5 feet wide?
I need some paper for that one. I can't solve that in my head. 5 feet deep, 5 feet wide. If it's a hole, it's a circle, so then you have to figure out the volume of a cylinder, which is...
What kind of animal is the horned toad?
Frog.
It's a lizard.
Wow, that was pretty interesting.
In case you were wondering, folks, I slapped him.
I deserved it. Well, at any rate, that does it for this Weekly Buck. Enjoy your day, everyone. And remember, tune in next time.